Hello, I'm Ian Wilder. I hope you're enjoying this Boog Festival. My first poem is entitled Geography of Doors and Streets for Dak. New York City is a place of great trust. You only hold the door open long enough for the person behind you to grab it, trusting they will, regardless if they do, and letting go to slam in their face. New York City is a place of great trust, crossing the street in the middle, far away from the crosswalks, against the pedestrian signals. Cars and trucks are speeding towards you, trusting they will not hit you, and letting go of childhood lessons about them slamming into your body. Open the door, close the door. After my grandmother passed, I took over her Forest Hills apartment. Tenants of the neighboring apartments ask if some of the poems in the elevator are mine. I step into the elevator to see what they mean. Read the small, rectangular scraps of paper with short poems written on them, stuck up next to the control panel. None are mine. Larger pieces of paper are wedged into the wall panels and door panels. I pull a few out and read the longer poems. Some poems are clearly signed Wilder, written by my grandmother. Pull a large sheet of crumpled up paper from behind the elevator wall panel with my childish handwriting on it. Then I remember, as a child, my grandmother showed me how to wedge a poem into the wall panel. Not knowing what to write, I wrote, "Open the door, close the door." June 5th, 2017. Yesterday, driving west with my wife along Route 25 from our Riverhead home to the Coram Fire Department for my nephew's Eagle Scout ceremony. There was a shopping mall. Now it's covered with flowers. You've got it. You've got it. To the right, for we pass for several hundred feet, a fenced-off paved area with the buildings gone and weeds growing everywhere. To the left, a large lake with a strand of dirt abutting the road filled with 24 cars parked side by side. Men carrying a fishing pole walks behind the cars along the edge of the road. You could write about the boats for your transportation poem today. I will figure how to work it into the poem somehow. It doesn't make much sense to go out in a boat. It's going to rain for an hour and a half. I hear fishing is better in the rain. But boats fill with water. I don't think it would be that much water. Remind me not to go out on a boat with you. By the way, this was a bonus poem from a 2017 June month-long writing project, and this was an extra section that I wrote. This poem is also from a poetry project, month-long, written with David Kirschenbaum in October 2020. This is from my section. The project is called Early Voting, Correspondence from the 2020 campaign. And it's the October 8th, 2020 section. My in-laws drove out to us in Riverhead for an outside masked pizza party to continue the celebration of my mother-in-law's birthday. They leave after a long visit of watching my 3-year-old running, climbing, and inquiring. I take JQ for the obligatory drive on Sound Avenue to fall asleep for her nap. She falls asleep as we pass the west entrance of the 4-H camp, which remains shuttered all summer. Make a right to head back around the farm stand selling Holy Schmidt's fresh horseradish. Make another right past the fenced-in field of young buffalo grazing and wonder if they are socially distanced. Remembering that as we fell into preparing for my in-laws' visit, that I told Kimberly that I realized a missed opportunity in last night's debate. Twice, Pence quoted, "You can choose your own opinion, but not your own facts." Something that I am awed that Pence could say with a straight face. Not surprisingly, Pence failed to attribute the quote to Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan. Mythos of marriage. Frightening pairs. 1. Memory. In the middle of the night, sleeping in our North Babylon one-bedroom co-op, Kimberly and I are frightened awake by our fearful wail. Turning on all the lights, we found the motor of our old refrigerator straining, the entire appliance shaking, rattling on top, a couple of ripening pears in a metal pan. 2. Recitation. After I finish the first draft of this above, Kimberly and I are sharing a pair of all things. We repeat our idiom, frightening pairs. I start the liturgy. Sleeping in our North Babylon apartment, she gently reminds me that the cabinets in that apartment were just above our shortened refrigerator, so no pears could be stored on the top there. Then it must have been our first marital residence instead. Lying in bed, our Amity Harbor attic efficiency, with a tiny, just big enough to fit our double bed, cut out of a bedroom area, the shaking refrigerator along the raspberry kitchenette wall, a fearful wail from a couple of ripening pears inside of a metal pan. 3. Prescription. Kimberly is always my copy editor, so I hand her the second draft above of this, and in this case, she is also my fact checker. Lying in bed, Amity Harbor, attic deficiency, ripening pears in a brown paper bag. And speaking of my wife, Kimberly, she's going to join me for the next poem. Kimberly Wilder. Black and yellow.
And
black
and yellow
crosses our paths, and we remember something forgotten. The thing forgotten becomes our focus. Everything remembered is ignored.
Black
and
yellow,
black,
crosses, yellow crosses our paths.
At the same time,
Gandhi teaches suffering is personal
and universal.
Yet duality is false.
At the same time,
a woman teaches
that epidemics pass
between loved ones by hands,
mouths,
eyes,
fists,
black
and yellow,
marked,
wings, black and yellow wings,
flutter by,
butterfly with black and yellow wings,
crosses our path,
and we know everything
will be all right.
Black
and
yellow
wing,
butterfly flutters by,
black
and
yellow
butterfly crosses paths. And now Kimberly's going to join me on flute for our last poem. This poem is titled For Te. It's written for the Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh, who recently passed away. Daily disturbances, calmed by others' eyes, cool eyes, ringing dandelions inwards, rain ringing in-breath, breathing, thoughts of beauty surprises, surprise of rain meditation, born by joyful walking.